Hey guys, so it's day 3 today of the 10-day challenge. The first day was really awesome. The moment I ended the last video that I posted, I walked around and I met 2 people in a row that were exactly the kind of people that I was looking for, entrepreneurs. One was actually leading a artist agency and the other was an author, and she wrote a book about how to overcome really bad breakups. And so those are 2 people that I really wanted to connect with, and I got their contacts, Instagram in one case, and I gave the other person my email address. And that's when one big question came up, which is how am I supposed to connect with those people that I network with in this slightly unconventional way? I guess it will depend a lot on the situation. So for example, the person that I met, the entrepreneur, the CEO of the artist agency, was clearly skeptical, and I think one of the reasons was that she might not have been sure whether it's meant as a romantic interaction, whether I was hitting on her. And so she didn't want me to get her email address or even share her Instagram, so I gave her my email address. And now there's this loose end in my head where it's like, there's a cool person that I really would love to have at the event, but I'm not even sure if she's gonna remember to contact me. I guess in that case I can just forget about it. In the other case, I got the Instagram, but as you know, probably my Instagram is not big. I'm not a big fan of that platform, and I'm not even sure how to follow up. And so I think that the best way for me is to really streamline that and use email. That's the medium where I feel most comfortable, and that's an effective way to get very close to people without getting lost in the stream of endless posts of other conventional social media. So that's one thing. The other thing is that the second day didn't go that well. Yesterday I went out. I was actually leading a workshop in the offline dating community, helping people to learn how to meet people in the romantic context offline. And the workshop was great, but I couldn't really switch modes and go from holding a workshop to actually doing it myself. Because when I do it myself, I have to be free. I have to be free to keep going, to meet a lot of people with very little interruptions between the interactions. I have to be free to move around as much as I want. And when I'm with a group and my job is to coach them, I can't do all of that. So I didn't really get into the vibe, and I guess also just by talking about romantic offline dating all day, it put a little barrier in my head where I couldn't easily switch to business networking, business dating during the event. And so in the end I talked to around 7-8 people, but there was definitely not 3 awesome people that I met. And it also made me realize that my challenge was formulated in the wrong way. You should never formulate a challenge in a way where you really can't control the outcome at all. You really can't control whether you'll accomplish the challenge or not. You should always formulate it in a way where it is something that's in your hand, something under your control. And so instead of saying I want to meet 3 awesome people every day, I should say I should talk to 10 potentially awesome people every day. And by talking to 10, I increase the chances of having a few that are actually awesome. But I might get a day like yesterday where I talk to around 10 and there's not a single really awesome person in it. I think what also really helps, and that's another last insight I want to share in this video, is of course to go to the right venues. Because yesterday I was hanging around with those people that I was coaching in bars and clubs, and people there tend not to be that awesome. I'm gonna be very honest, at least not by my standards, and maybe also I cannot recognize them in that context because it's basically really a bunch of friend groups who are getting drunk together and trying to kind of push each other into a different state of consciousness with the help of substances. And they're really baffled when you just come into a group and say hi. I mean, you probably know this if you've ever tried it. It is possible, but it's always a bit on the weird side, and you have to really get warmed up. You have to probably talk to 10 or 15 people before you can get into that state where you are easily able to break into a bigger group and actually get to know the people there. And even then they will suspect you of being romantically motivated, because that's what those places are more designed for, and that's what's more common in those places. So I'll definitely pay attention to that in the next few days. I will really choose places where I will assume to be more of a networking business vibe, and I have a few events lined up like that. There's also a party that is happening tomorrow evening of an organization called Sober Sensation, where people don't actually drink alcohol during the whole party, and that's a dream come true for me. And so I'll definitely be there and network with a lot of people. I guess it'll be completely different than being at a party where people are trying to get drunk. Okay, and those are all my little sharings for today, and now I have to do one last confession, which is that today I only talked to 2 new people, and as you see now, I'm already tired and it's evening because I had to take a rest from the workshop. So I have to confess that I'm not even achieving the controllable goal of talking to 10 people today, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because I know that tomorrow will be a much more social day, and I will actually double the number for tomorrow and say it's got to be 20. Cool. Stay tuned. I'll keep you updated. Next video coming tomorrow.